E-A-T-L-E-S,
Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network.
And he is here. No hat. To all the people who put that on the stream at JF McMullen, John McMullen, not only with us, and I have a feeling that we might be seeing a little less of John McMullen as he has a brand new program out with the great Jody McDonald. My goodness.
Congrats.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Well, everybody knows you got to get it back to the Eagles. So we're going to give everybody what they want, and that's all Eagles. 365 days a year. Birds 365.
Yeah. Now, okay, go ahead.
No. I was just going to throw some stupid quip in. That's all.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say to John, I don't know if he was aware that I used to do a show with Jody Mack.
Yeah, I was aware.
Back in the day. You're aware of that? Yeah. He's great to work with, man. I know you have a great rapport with him. I've heard your segments with him on his various he's on like so many different radio stations. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, he's on obviously locally in Philadelphia and obviously CBS nationally. I mean, he's a legend.
Is he still up there in New York, either on the ESPN or the Fan?
I think he did some stuff on the Fan.
WFAN plus CBS National.
I mean, he's like, he was doing stuff forever. Mac and Sid, remember that?
Yeah.
That's back when I was a kid.
Mac and Philly, a different Mac.
It's a different Mac, right? He and Glenn Mac now. But I think that's what I was going to say as far as my stupid little quip is that you're both really worldly individuals. And Jody has he has a hard time, right? Not
nice way of saying old, but yeah.
No. But here's the thing, like neither one of you can stay on track. And I don't mean like me with my derailment or Mertitas ADD or ADHD. I mean, as far as like, you can't help yourself to make a reference. So you can't help yourself to drop an analogy. You can't help yourself to bring some life into a conversation, even if it's about football. And my thing is, I don't know how long it's going to take, but there's going to be, Jody's going to say something and it's going to trigger that for you or vice versa. And next thing you know, half of the show is going to be you guys going down some
rabbit holes.
Exactly. And that's what I'm looking forward to as much as I am the two of your football minds.
Yeah, I think the rabbit hole is the fun part, but that's me. We'll see what the listeners think.
And Jody Mack is a good wrestling guy too.
Tremendous
wrestling.
Not as good as me, but tremendous.
No.
But the fact that he could hold his own with McMullen might be a good thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
10-6, 13:45 to go in the first. All right, John.
Can't help himself.
Well, we're going to give updates. This is what I do every night. I do a lot of in-game show. This is like secondhand for me. I'll be giving you updates of the game as we seamlessly transition back to Carson Wentz. And then before you know it, you'll know how high of a lead Va Tech has at the 8-minute mark. John, we were talking at length about Carson, and I'm sure this is going to be something that, even though it will be close to 2 months, right, at the start of your show since the departure, it's still going to be hovering around the entire season. What did you at least make of the whole dueling press conferences? Yes, I'd rather watch two people up on stage dueling pianos than dueling pressers that we got yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was I'm not going to say it was a concerted effort, but it was interesting that you had Howie Roseman and a little bit late, but, you know, that's typical. And then Carson Wentz was supposed to start a half hour early. Turned out to be a little bit closer than that. But I think they both took the high road as expected. They're not going to throw each other under the bus. You got to be a professional. But I do think we got out of Howie. Essentially, he admitted, Carson drove this. He didn't want to be back. It's as simple as that. The Eagles didn't want to eat that $34 million. If he showed any interest in coming back, he'd be the quarterback here.
Absolutely. And he made sure that he didn't say it, but you could just tell by the things that he was saying, like apologizing if he wasn't as good a teammate as people thought he should have been. He apologized for that. That's just him that's just him saying, all right, I knew I messed up and I was a little bit more than what I should have been, but I apologize for it. And as I go forward, these guys got to understand that I'm gonna try to change. But at the end of the day, I think a leopard always keeps the same spots, bro.
People could change.
Yeah, I mean, I've never criticized for Carson. I mean, we have Barrett here, so I'm going to ask you, Barrett. You're in NFL locker rooms.
Wait a second. There's no stealing content from our show to put on your show.
I'm going to steal because he's the one of us that, I've been in NFL locker rooms, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But he's in there every day. You get 65 people together when you talk about 53 practice squad injured reserve. Nobody likes everybody.
Absolutely.
It's not a surprise that certain guys didn't like Carson Wentz. I don't know why he's apologizing for that, to be honest.
I mean, the reports got to him. I think the stuff it's impossible. Everybody, all three of you know, and anybody who's here locally on the stream knows, even Culver knows now, after dealing with my nonsense for 2 years before you guys even popped on here, it's impossible to play in this city and ignore what's being said, written, discussed about you.
The noise.
It's virtually, physically impossible.
Human nature.
Well, yeah, and I like Jalen Hurts because he calls it rat poison. So I think he comes into it with a better mindset.
Well, that's from Saban. That's Saban.
That's from Saban.
Yeah.
To try to ignore it. I don't think ultimately you can ignore it, but we'll see. I think I'll handle it a little bit better. Yeah, I think Carson had rabbit ears. He heard a little bit too much of that stuff. And it's like, look, I always talk about Aaron Rodgers all the time. There are a lot of guys who've gone on record to say they don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger.
Right away.
Yeah.
Greg
but I mean, teammates. Talk to Greg Jennings about Aaron Rodgers, who caught about 400 balls from him. He didn't like him.
No,
but
be timeout, 16-10.
The point is, if you play at that level, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If Carson was playing at a 2017 level, even a 2018, 2019 level, wouldn't have mattered as much.
You're right.
He was awful. That's the biggest issue. He benched himself and he didn't play well.
You can be a horse's ass
if
you go out there and play. But if you go out there and you don't play like that and you play like a horse's ass, then you can't be that guy. And that's the problem with the whole situation this year. If Carson would have played at a level in which, he could calm down the locker room, and the locker room could trust that he can go out there and perform at a high level, I don't care how you act. I don't care what you do. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to do on that field, players don't care about it. You got 50-something men. You got, like you said, 53 men on the active roster. You got 56, whatever. At the end of the day, if you're doing your job, people will leave you alone. It could be like two trains passing in the night. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. As long as we don't have to say two words outside of that meeting room and on the field. We don't have to talk when we're in the lunchroom. We don't have to talk when we're in the weight room. We don't have to talk when we're getting treatment. But as long as I'm on the field, you're talking to me. And if I'm in that meeting room, you're talking to me. It does not matter. You don't need to be hunky-dory and all, I love you. I'm going to name my kid after you. I don't care about that. Perform on the field, get the job done, and that's what it is. As long as you're winning.
Yep.
And I think people don't even need, if you work in an office or something of that nature, you should be able to correlate it and say, I don't get along with everybody, but it doesn't mean I can't work with them. I always thought with Carson Wentz, he should have said, you know what? Certain guys don't like me. Who cares? I'm the leader of this team. You better follow me on the field, as Barrett said. For whatever reason, he didn't have that sentiment, that mentality. I always go back to Jason Peters. I tell this story all the time. After the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Jason Peters was at training camp. Remember, he had torn his ACL, didn't play in the Super Bowl. So some reporter from outstate, Allentown or something, that's not there every day, went up to Jason Peters and said, basically, how important is it for you to play in the Super Bowl so you get a Super Bowl ring? And anybody who's met Jason, very intimidating guy, just looked right through him and said, already got one. already got a Super Bowl ring because he knew how important he was to that team, even though he wasn't on the field. Yep. Carson never felt that way. Mm-hmm. And I actually told him personally, that's the tack you should take. You already got one. So,
right.
I'm giving whether it's Nick Foles, whether it's all that stuff, all that nonsense, he let the rat poison get to him. No question about it.
Well, look at this, John. My fault. Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Same thing with Ben Roethlisberger and the Super Bowl 40 when we played in. He did not play at the level in which he thought he should play. In fact, he didn't play a good game at all. It was the running game that won the game for us in the defense. And long story long, we're in the locker room celebrating the Super Bowl, and he was not happy because he didn't play a good game. He was literally almost sulky in his locker room, and not really, being hyped. I'm sitting next to the owner, smoking cigars and everything. We're just kicking it in there, but you can see that he didn't feel as though he contributed enough to win the Super Bowl. So he I kind of saw that he didn't feel as though he won a Super Bowl to that next Super Bowl 2 years later. And he was a definite pivotal point in the game where he threw that pass to, to San Antonio Holmes that really, solidified him as then being a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
I could see that. I mean, I can identify with that.
Yep.
Yeah, but and I'll say, certain guys can use it the right way.
Yes.
I think Ben, what you're saying is Ben didn't like the way he played. He used it as fuel to get back and play better. Whereas I think Carson said, woe is me. I got hurt. Mm-hmm. This is my team. I was 11-2. I was the MVP.
Yeah. Why are they building a statue of the other guy? Why aren't they celebrating me? I'm the guy. Yeah.
All right, we're back in 3. We've got a lot still in the final 20 minutes or so. Quick overtime, of course. Book It Sports. Don't go anywhere. It's the middle. All right. So you excited, man? This is big stuff here.
Of course I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Let's talk some ball. Let's get Nick Sirianni.
Is that going to be on Philly Voice as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Because I know it's going to be on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
I got to confirm that with Krause, though.
Yeah.
I should know that by now.
We got to talk some ball. We need people that love ball. That's it. What do you make of this guy? I mean, this is his second go round. I know he did a little bit better this time, but he's just like overly enthusiastic for me.
Yeah, well, I thought he was more comfortable, so I do think it was a little bit better. He if you listen to the press conference, he was like rock solid for like a minute, and then anytime he gave an answer, and then he would just keep going and kind of lose it at the end. I think he's got to be more focused, but
they need somebody like in the crowd that either plants questions like Reagan used to have, or somebody who is like in the way back who can kind of blend in and do one of these. Because you're right. It's like he's got him, he loses him.
And then he just
he's got him, he loses him. Somebody needs to be like,
that's a learned skill set, though, man.
I think he'll get better.
I didn't need to know about the brother coaching high school.
The wing T. The wing T.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Jeffrey Lurie with his obsession with offense and quarterbacks, and he's got a guy up there talking about the wing T?
Who do you think Vince too? We were talking about that, and now use that in the backdrop. The wing T. Like, did Sirianni blow Jeffrey Lurie away, and Lurie said, "Hire this man," or did he blow Roseman away, and Roseman said, "Hey, we got to hire this guy"?
I think it was Jeff.
With those latitudes, right?
Yeah, and
the only thing that was missing is, I tell you what, man.
Gruden.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, the energy stuff, if he wins, it's not going to matter. People are going to find it endearing. They're going to love him. If he loses, though, they're going to use that against him. They're going to say, rah, high school guy, wing T, bring in his brother. They already started that.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, winning cures all ails, and I think that's the point that I was trying to say. I mean, at this point, I don't need him to be saying anything to me right now. I mean, because I don't want him to lose that locker room. I don't want him to lose the respect of guys that he hasn't really met yet. People that don't really know him yet. You don't want to be the butt of jokes. And that's a problem that happens, man, when, guy walks into a room and guys start giggling. Man, I've been around coaching situations. I was with Butch Davis, and Butch wanted to bring in everybody from his Miami team, and he became the butt of jokes. This is Cleveland, Miami, or Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, come on now, Miami of Ohio. That's what they call it, Miami of Ohio.
Right.
Guys in the locker room saying, "Oh, is this Miami of Ohio?" That comes and it happens.
Yeah. Well, same thing with Chip in Oregon, and bringing all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You got to be. You got to. That's a tightrope. You got to walk that line.
I'm walking a line right now, John McMullen, and I don't know. I need the stress ball. All right. Stress ball.
Oh, jeez.
1911, 9:24 to go in the first. I've got under 60.
It's right on pace.
It's almost like they know what they're doing.
It's right on pace. These guys know, and they know what's going on, man.
Yeah. Where's Mr. Predicto? Why don't you just
right?
Yeah, that's what he just should ask him. Yep,
that's already in now, so I don't want to hear the stone cold truth if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, it could help prepare you for maybe the inevitable here in 10 minutes. Just ask Mr. Predicto if the game is going to go under in the first half, under 60.
Oh, you talked him into it now.
Yep, he's got to find it now. He got rid of the stress ball.
Yeah, I have the stress ball still.
You can get rid of the stress ball.
Yes,
Predicto.
Yes.
Under.
Yeah, I said yes. Now, if this thing goes over, expect Mr. Predicto to be in about 1 million different pieces.
That's the end of Mr. Predicto. Yes.
Somebody's gonna have to delete that Twitter account, or at least update the avatar of this thing in shards, because I'm out. I've had enough of Mr. Predicto. If that's the
one
case.
lost bet, and he's gonna smash it.
Seriously, I mean, come on. We brought you in here to make us money, not to make us look like idiots. I can do that on my own time.
Come on, man.
21-14, 8:19 to go in the first.
21-14, Virginia Tech.
Correct. Virginia Tech is leading, and they're on an 8-1 run currently. After that 3, it's an 11-1 run. So let's look at this as far as anything else going on now. Colts get their guy. Eagles, it sounded like, and in fact, since John McMullen is still here hanging out with us, which we love, of course, it sounded like at the very least that the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to, or not entertaining the idea of a quarterback.
When people start talking about Jalen, the first thing that they go to is his athleticism and his strength as a runner. And I don't know that that's necessarily fair. This is a guy who completed over 70% of his passes at Oklahoma. He's got a feel for the passing game. He's got a plus arm, and I think he's going to continue to get better and better. When you look at those 4 games, I think I watched Coach say this, and I think it was the best way to describe it. He's only got 4 starts, and there's a huge room for him to continue to improve from a player who had 4 starts. So we're excited about the ability that he has and his opportunity to grow and to kind of be with this coaching staff and their ability to get their hands on him and help him become the player that he's got the talent to become.
Does that sound like a man who's ready to draft a quarterback at 6?
Well, no. I don't think he's allowed to, and Howie tried to clean that up because I didn't think that was, if you go back to the Chris Mortensen report, that's just not good strategy from Jeffrey Lurie to let that out there. I mean, you want teams behind you like Carolina and Denver thinking you might take a quarterback because then maybe they jump up ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then a player falls. So I think Howie was doing a little house cleaning, trying to clean that up and say, hey, we can take a quarterback, but they're not taking a quarterback, basically.
Yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, man, I was watching film, on guys, man, and I can see them going out and getting, the kid from North Dakota State. I mean, Trey Lance was. I can see it. From watching him play
at 6, he's back, Barrett.
Right.
Here it is. He's the Patrick Mahomes of Division I AA.
I mean, he was slinging it, man. I could see him doing that. But at this point, I looking at what we're going to face as far as defenses, as far as this defense here. I mean, there's so many good wide receivers in this division now. I mean, Come on now, you got Samuels.
Yeah, right.
They just got Samuels and McLaurin in Washington. You saw what you have with the Giants. I mean, Dallas. You have three, not just good, but right on the edge of being great wide receivers.
Oh, Dallas is loaded. Yeah.
So we got to go. I mean, to me, I need to go defense and get Patrick Surtain, or we'll trade back and then get Patrick Surtain. And get more draft picks, or I would stick and just get Pitts. That's just me, right. At this point.
Has Galladay signed anywhere yet?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Galladay?
Is he signed anywhere yet?
No, he was meeting with the Giants. Now the Ravens are trying to get involved. So
okay.
It seems as if the NFL knows, and John, you can shed some light on this, depending how right or wrong I am on this statement, but it seems as if the NFL, everybody knows clearly that this is a tight year and you have to tighten up your belts and you have to keep things a little tighter with the cap. And the one position that appears to be the most expendable appears to be the wide receiver position. You have some some that could be dictated by the talent pool that's out there, but in the same time, it's not like we're seeing even one guy blow the doors off this offseason in that position.
Well, and part of that is the draft as well, because you have Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. So if you're up in the draft looking for a wide receiver, you got those more cost-effective options than paying Galladay an enormous sum. Good player.
Right.
If the Giants get him, as Barrett said, that brings another really good receiver into this division. But,
right.
I'd rather have those young guys than paying Kenny Galladay a ton of money. I don't think there's any question about that. So that's the way I think most teams are thinking. And that's why the receiver market has been a little bit tempered, so to speak.
Fair enough. Who's got a better shot of winning the division? I'm sorry, Harry.
No, go ahead.
The Colts. Who's got a better shot of winning the division? The Patriots or the Dolphins?
Well, the Patriots there's so much uncertainty with the Patriots. I mean, the Dolphins are going in the right direction. I think we all saw that. You can't help but be impressed with what Brian Flores was doing last season. I'm not sold on Tua. Maybe that was coming off the injury, and maybe he gets back now that he gets further and further off it to where we all thought he was at Alabama. If that's the case, I would say Miami. If not, I kind of always default to Belichick. I love the fact that Belichick, everybody's killing him.
Yeah.
I always say, everybody does one thing in this league. Everybody copies each other. It's all groupthink. It's all 11 personnel. You got to spread the field. You got to do it this way. And Belichick's, no, I'm going to do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Because if you think about it just from a common sense standpoint, if 31 teams are doing the same thing, then it comes down to who does it best.
Right.
And Belichick's like, I'm going to put 2 tight ends out there, a big offensive line.
Yep.
I'm going to try to run the football. Hey, maybe it doesn't work, but I like the thought to zig when everybody else is zagging, or vice versa.
Right.
It makes sense for him too, because if you look at his quarterback, you got a guy that's not going to throw over 40 yards down the field.
Can't throw it down the field.
So why won't you go with your 2 tight end set, run the ball, have the time to run the ball and pass the ball with your tight ends, and plus defensively, they have a lot of guys coming back that were starters and offensive linemen that are starters. So, I mean, this might be a better team.
Back.
Yeah,
right.
But he did sign back. Van Noy signed back from Miami.
Yeah,
from Miami, yeah. So,
John,
go ahead,
what did you make of Washington signing Fitzpatrick? I'm for one, I'm glad he's in the division because I find the guy fun.
Oh, he's tremendous.
He's good.
I mean,
he's good for the
number
league.
One. It's good that Jim Schwartz is gone because he killed Jim Schwartz defenses. I think he was 4-0, just astronomical numbers.
Is that why Jim was? He knew that Fitzpatrick was coming.
Yeah, he was scared of him. Look, I always use that joke. My 3 favorite bridges are Brooklyn, Golden Gate, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you need a bridge quarterback, that's your guy, man.
Is that
right.
your joke?
Your guy.
This is the kind of humor you're going to get on Birds 365.
Yeah.
Is that your joke?
I'm doing 10 minutes at the Chuckle Hut as well.
Where'd you get that? Did Jody Mack slide that in for you and say, look, if you need a little ammunition, I got something here for you?
No, that's a Johnny Mack. I've been using that one for years. I wrote that.
I'll tell you what, I've worked with Jody a couple times, and it seems like every time I work with Jody, I am at a bar restaurant. It never fails. I'm at the bar working with him. Every time I do a show with him,
Budweiser in front of Jody Mack with a little bit of head on it. Yeah, exactly right.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I hope we get to do this show at a bar restaurant soon enough.
Yeah, no question.
I want to do remotes. I want to
me
do
too.
Remotes.
Whenever you guys land that big bar restaurant client, just slide us in there.
Yeah, what advertisers do you have already, John? You got them all lined up?
I don't know. That's not my department, but I don't know if any bars are going to take us at 8 a.m, but you never know.
Hey.
Actually, here's what you could do, right? Just go to a diner. Once the diner's open back up, now you're a diner show. I mean, and think about it. Is that not – it's not that you guys aren't a bar show. You're a bar show too, but you guys spinning yarn on the Eagles at 9:30 in the morning while you got people eating their eggs on their way to work.
That's
eggs and eggs
right there.
And there's a legendary diner in South Jersey near my house. They know who they are. So contact us.
Is it Ponskills?
Yeah.
Maybe. Here's the thing. You
didn't want to give them the free plug.
Why not? Then we cut it up and we send it to them.
Yeah, that's the way this works.
You got to get a little give and take. I know this is new territory here for you, McMullen. We're trying to tell you how to do this.
McMullen, you're that close to me, man? I'm right around the corner from you. I'm in Voorhees, man.
Yeah, I'm a strapper.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, here we go.
You drive around a really nice neighborhood and you see a broken down Mercedes in the front.
That's Barrett's house.
Yeah, it's somebody yelling at him to cover the damn thing up.
You got people throwing rocks at me.
All right, let's take a quick break. We're back again. John McMullen's hanging with us. If you haven't heard, you're going to hear coming up in 5 seconds. We'll wrap the hour coming up next. It's themiddlephillyvoice.com/themiddle in Sports Map Radio.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about EAGLES! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.
$26-23.
Yep.
Yeah, it's starting to light it up now.
Yeah, Florida just hit a 3, didn't it?
Yeah, another one. Yep.
3:59 to go. I need there's a layup after that. 26-25. I'm at 51 points. This thing's busted. All right. Now let's see if I can make this back live.
Oh, jeez.
Because I am freaking cooked.
This is a window into Eitan's afternoon. This is what goes on over there all day.
Here's the thing. Good news is that it's just me and Scott Grayson tonight. So Sean Bell is off. So I have to carry his segments, which is not a bad thing. But now we're doing every game on Saturday. We're only doing a couple. So I'm actually not even going to be able to watch a lot of the afternoon where I'm paying close enough attention to live bet. It'll just be on the background while I'm doing my notes for tonight. That's
right. Well, don't you have to record your other show today too?
No, I'm off because of the live games.
Wow.
They carry Drexel. So I'm off, and Sean and Jansen are doing the show, my show.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm off. It's a light day for me. I only have this show, but I don't know what happened with Sean tonight. Bell Brace is doing the show. I know there's a lot of Sean's. Sorry. Anyway, that's a window into my life. There you have it. As boring as that may be.
Props and locks.
Yeah.
You work more than anybody I know, man.
No, that's not true, man. I look, it's not that much. I do 2 radio shows 5 days a week, but they're 2-hour shows, and you two are on them. John is on. Like, this is not strenuous. This is not I know I yell and scream every now and again, but this is not Harry. I mean, come on, this is not work.
No, it's not like having phones to fire up the phones to talk about, Carson Wentz 12 months a year.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the other show is just me placing like 2 or 3 small wagers and doing live in-game betting on the radio. And then I write, John writes too, and I'm like a extreme below the poverty level version of anything like, that he does. So I just crank this thing out once or twice a week, and that's it, man. I got time. It's a myth. I used to work a lot, but it was just at one place.
Yeah.
That's why there was that myth that grew, is because I never left the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
never
the only leverage I had was that they seemed to like me enough to put me everywhere that I would say, okay, I'll fill in for Harry on the midday show, but I also have to still stay in my morning show slot with Anthony and Bob.
Right. And then
I would be the one saying, no, keep me on the air as much as possible.
Well, it worked.
It does. All right, we're back.
It worked.
And the biggest trick that Harry, I got to give Harry credit, John McMullen, Barrett Brooks. He was the only one who figured this out. And he tried to warn people, but Martinez took the bait. Others, Andrew, everybody took the bait. In especially days where I would be on in the morning, I would be on it with the morning show. If it was me and Anthony, Bob, whatever, we'd be on the morning show. And then I would do an update or two for Harry and Rob, and then I think Harry and Jason at the time. And then I would leave at noon. But what I would do is I would send texts to Harry and his co-host at the time about what's going on.
Right.
And then Harry couldn't help himself and say, oh, now I'm getting a text from Shander.
Right.
Saying, and now I would be on the air. And then every now and again, like Mike or somebody later would hear it and be like, what the hell is going on? And there were days in which I would successfully have my name be talked about on all the day parts.
No doubt. And the skunk was sending me texts at the beginning of this show today. Trying to get me to play video. No, he's trying to get me to play audio on my phone, like just it had nothing to do with the show. He didn't even realize I'm doing a show. So I didn't want to give him any mention because all of his picks suck.
Martinez, that's my guy, man.
Yeah.
Look, I made a promise earlier in the show here that this thing would be no more if, in fact, it told us, it lied to it. We have it on tape.
We do.
We have it on tape. This damn thing told me that it would go under. And you all sat there and you enabled this thing.
Yeah. No,
I still have 51.
You got to trust the process. Just because you lose one, trust the process, consistency with Mr. Predicto. You can't be 100%.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If there was anybody on this show, including Ron Culver and the stream, that I think I could appeal to their existential side, it would be you and the philosophical question of whether or not you want to know your fate ahead of time. And I told these guys I did not want to know my fate ahead of time. I wanted to live it out. And no, ask the damn thing. What's the worst that could happen? And now I am seconds away from destroying it.
Right.
Was it Lenny? And of Mice of Men, right? Was it Lenny who couldn't help himself, or the other guy? Don't
do it, man. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Was that John Steinbeck?
Yeah, Johnson. Lenny was the big guy.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. It was Lenny who couldn't help himself.
Mr. Predicto was eating the rat poison, man. He bought into the under.
Mr. Predicto needs a little stress ball before he goes over the bridge. All right. This is going to be one hell of an exit for us and Predicto. Here's where we have right now before we hit overtime. It's 27-25, 2:47 to go. There's no way at 52 total points with 2:47 left. Now, I'll wait until it actually hits before I destroy our friend here.
Don't destroy it, man. We need him, man. No, we need him, bro. Don't do it, man.
Well,
we'll give you a pass, bro.
91 LSXers points out something. He's right here. We got to strip him of the Mr. Because Mr. and Mrs. is no more. You can't do Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head.
No,
why is it Mr. Predicto?
It is still Mr. Potato. They came right back. They balked. It was like outrage for 2 days, and then they came back and said they are keeping him at Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh.
What is that all about, man? Come on.
It's like, I'm telling you, that the Mike Tyson analogy can be applied to life. If you can withstand the barrage, you're okay.
That's right.
All right.
You got around one, you're fine.
We're back in 30. It's overtime. Thanks, Ron.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Book It Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Book It Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Book It Sports today on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
All right, it's overtime. PhillyVoice.com/the middle. Of course, brought to you by our great friends at Book It Sports. And I'm watching a 29-25 first half with 2:07 to go. The total, in-game total, is 134. Now, look at how low scoring of a game we've had with tempo. And you should still hit 60, but probably right around 60. You think I'm inclined to go under that number?
It looks like it, just from the pace. Yeah.
Now I have to jump in now.
Second halves, you have a lot more opportunity for the clock to be stopped and points to be scored.
Correct. So I'll need an additional 14. I'll actually need an additional 15 points from where my projected end will be from the first half. Now, we've seen that. I think the over is a little bit more of a risk, 134.5. I'd like to drop it a little bit. Now, here's something to think about. Colgate's up 14-12 with 12-13 to go. That's an in-game 6-point line. That's dropped 2.5 to 3 points, depending on where you had it close.
Well, what was the total in that game?
The total originally was, and I'll have it here for you, 161.5. It's down to 157.
Wow.
But you're really at, you're really at 45 total points. I'm going to go under 156 in this game. And I'm also going to go under the current game here. I'm not going to parlay them. I'm going to do straight bets, but units both along.
Yeah.
That Vatech Florida game is suspended. Both are suspended because they're way too high. All right. Is there anything from what happened yesterday to moving forward? I think the only thing now is just trying to figure out what the Eagles do at 6 and if we got anything from it. And we kind of brought that up with this specific cut about Howie Roseman and Jalen Hurts, and it's still going to be some sort of guessing game. I understand that. But I don't know about Nick Sirianni. And to Barrett's point about him going out there and coaching, it's going to drive me crazy. Every time I hear him, it's going to drive me crazy because I need week 1 to happen for him. I don't need week 1 to happen for the NFL draft. And I wonder if Jeffrey Lurie did tip his hand and Howie Roseman is doing damage control, or couldn't they just be sold on Jalen Hurts? Why is that such a discounted idea?
I don't know how you could be after 4 games. Remember, he was the 53rd pick in the draft. We're not talking about a guy who was picked 6th or 2nd, or Trevor Lawrence is going 1. Justin Fields. If he were there, I got to take him. I have to. I don't care Jeffrey Lurie or not. I hope Howie just breaks out and just takes the kid. But look, 32 teams were evaluating Jalen Hurts, and he ended up in the 2nd round. That tells you something. And Daniel Jeremiah was talking about the ceilings of these players, and he mentioned Fields and Trey Lance specifically, and I know Barrett likes Trey. He just said they have much higher ceilings. Yeah. Now, the floors might be lower as well. That's what makes this stuff difficult. But, the Eagles claim they don't want to be up in the top 10 all the time. That's what Howie always says. We don't plan on being here. So how do you not address the quarterback situation? How do you not do it?
Well, I think it might be a little bit of gamesmanship by the owner. Maybe the owner said that to, take everybody's mind off of it.
I don't believe that, Barrett, because it was Chris Mortensen. And Jeffrey would never burn Chris Mortensen. He burned me. He burned everybody else, but he's not burning Chris Mortensen.
Has he burned you before?
No. But I'm just saying, he would not do that to Chris Mortensen. He would not use him.
Well, it's 60, man. So what does that mean it's 60? Do you win or you lose?
We have breaking news.
The push.
No.
You got to push.
What?
No. We have and I had to take the picture of it because nobody will believe me. And you can see, I'm even going to put it there. so you can see the time in which it was placed. I misread my own bet. The first half total was not 60 points. It was, in fact,
I can't read that.
3 points.
63, so that's an easy winner.
That's a coast. I was sweating something out for no reason.
No. You don't get by this. Now you gotta apologize to Mr. Predicto.
Yeah.
Mr. Predicto was right, Mr. Predicto.
You gotta apologize. You thought you were gonna break him.
And I'm the one who told you to take it.
You did,
right?
And here's the thing, Barrett. The reason why I didn't break it and I wanted to play it out is it because if it did push, and you're right, if it pushes, then it's void and you get your money back. But Mr. Predicto saves the day. I love you.
And on that note,
I think there's got to be an apology on the Twitter account.
Right.
Absolutely, Mr. Predicto. I owe you a public apology, even more so than what I just gave you here on the program. But yeah. Do you want to ask any question? Do you have any tournament-related cover question? If it's a spread, money line, or total, Harry. Is there anything that you're a little uncertain about that we should ask Mr. Predicto before we all get out of here and promote one more time, mind you? Great news, and we all love it with John McMullen and Jody McDonald, Birds 365. But any question I can ask Mr. Predicto before we're out of here?
Yes. Will Oral Roberts cover against the Ohio State Buckeyes?
No.
Oh.
Do you have that? Are you locked in?
Oh, I'm locked in on that and the over.
I can't wait for the show, man. And also, like I said, you and Jody, man. I mean, go ahead and
go. Sorry.
All right, so the stream wants to know.
Is much more important.
They were saying how many cigarettes Jody Mack gonna smoke in that 2-hour period.
The stream said that. Jeez.
Come on. Through a lot.
Come on.
I was going to ask Mr. Predicto about college basketball, but
go ahead.
I don't care because I'm Birds 365 all the time.
All right, fair enough.
There we go. There's a promo.
I saw something, and we'll cut that for you. I saw something, as we always like to go to the stream when people ask questions or make statements about what we're talking about, not just, of course, what they're talking about, which we love, but I saw this from Mr. International. It's been a little bit. So where the hell you been, Mr. International? About Howie Roseman. I'm looking for it, so I was trying to put it up as I speak. About Howie Roseman will be gone if he fails this year and next. Where is the Howie Roseman is going to be fired after blank on the radar or gauge? Like, where are we on that right now? Where is Howie Roseman's job security, in your opinion?
I think it's pretty solid. I compare.
How much can he withstand?
Quite a bit. I mean, I think Jeffrey looks at Howie Roseman. I've made the comparison like the 32 NFL owners look at Roger Goodell. He's a lightning rod. As long as people are complaining about Howie, they're not complaining about Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. I think he likes that.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And I saw that. Thank you, Mr. International. We love you too. I just haven't seen, maybe I missed a comment here or there, but we appreciate it. Again, I saw that and I wanted to bring it up because I think that there is, and I don't know. And I think that's almost a scary thought. And I'll leave you with this. I know we'll get out for overtime. It's almost a scary thought that the guy could go the next 2 years and win 4 to 6 games and still be here.
Still keep his job. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think they expect to win 4 or 6 games, and they're probably going to win 7, and everybody's going to say, what a great job Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman did.
I can't wait for that.
Well, see, I'm you guys entertain it. I'm not entertaining whether Howie's going to be here or not. I can't do it anymore.
Why not? Whatever you say, we'll go the opposite.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Right. Thanks again. One more time. Here it is, courtesy of today and each and every day of Book It Sports. And we remind you of a brand new show on JAKIB Media and Philly Voice, Birds 365.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about EAGLES! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Book It Sports, a social media.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about
EATLES, Eagles!
Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.